So, I got asked to give some tips on animatics. I'll go more on the technical side in later videos, but I want to give some advice on compositions, to which this video will be about. And because this is art-based, this advice will also be translated between animation, artwork, comics, film, and all that good stuff. So, let's get into it. Composition in a visual medium is meant to, like so many things in entertainment, convey information to the audience. This can be interpreted in many different ways, be it tone, what's in control, a feeling, expression, and the like, to smaller aspects like the setting, characters' personalities, and focus. You want to be eligible and readable of how the actions taking place connect. In other terms, you want good continuity between the shots before anything else. That doesn't necessarily mean, oh, this space was here, but now it's here. No, it's more on shot flow. In the book Shot by Shot, Visualizing from Concept to Screen by Stephen Katz, he writes, "Shot flow is the name given to the kinetic energy of a sequence of shots. This is an apt description as it invokes the image of a river, which can be turbulent, tranquil, or winding, or can even turn back against itself mid-course. A sequence of shots is often comprised of complex rhythmic and dynamic continuity relationships that, like a river, merge into a single, unified structure." He goes to discuss two major facets of composition, shot size and camera angle. An example he gives on shot size is you have to close in on a house in the middle of nowhere in 3 shots. One way to do that is just to go a steady pace, slowly closing in, or another way is to have a steady pace and then jump to much closer in the 3rd shot. The last one has more of a punch and stronger composition. The camera angle of a given piece can, keyword can, give it new meaning as well. For instance, if a character is shot from the ground up, it can mean they're powerful, inspiring, imposing, or a whole lot of other things. Down shots can mean looking down on the character's situation, a sense of gloom and doom. That's not always the case, as camera angles by themselves do not have meaning, or at least not as much meaning as it would have within the correct context. So if a more incompetent director uses them, but not to say anything, then they're using it incorrectly. An infamous example is in the film Battlefield Earth, where 90% of the film has Dutch angles. Dutch angles are usually meant to show a more dramatic and uncomfortable situation. The director was surely trying to go for that as well, but it being used in every scene comes off as distracting and loses its meaning. To speak for the most part, your composition should be reflecting the tone and character of the piece. An example off the top of my head of composition is in Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. One scene with Elizabeth is on the ship with Captain Barbossa, and the ship is swaying, having Barbossa slightly arched above Elizabeth, and that the food that Elizabeth would want is just out of her reach. This is a subtle way to reinforce that Barbossa has the upper hand. Something else I like about this is that the shot goes by extremely quickly, to be more understated that something's wrong, which is what you want to give in a tense situation. There's some ideas that every shot should be like this, where it's consistently reinforcing these aspects on screen. However, I feel like you should have a good balance of neutral framing, shot, reverse shots, flat shots, establishing shots, and some more experimental off-the-wall stuff. Low angle, wide shot, close-ups, etc. Above anything else, composition needs to serve the story, not the other way around. If you had a shot in it because it looked pretty but actively missed the point of the scene, then you wasted a scene. As a rule, there's no point in refining ideas if they do not serve the narrative.
I was fine with the men who would come into her life now and again.
In the show Steam Universe, there's this one shot where the camera is circling around a character singing. The creators were really excited to show this, there's a lot of talk about it, and the scene they pulled inspiration from. Now let me tell you why it's terrible. The song and character moment in question needs to elicit sadness, regret, shame. You know what doesn't do that? A shot meant to show off how many people admire them, are completely content and proud, and meant to be a high point. These are both meant to show pivotal moments in the story and arcs, but they both have very different end results and meanings. Suppose you could take it to mean the world around her is hazy and self-reflective, but to what end, and why circle her? I highly doubt that was ever even considered an idea. Now of course, these shots are not set in stone in their meanings. In the film Citizen Kane, there's many low shots about from beginning to end, but they have different meaning on the context. Beginning of the film, it's meant to show that power, but at the same time, envy of him. By the end, it's in a new place with the rooms being big and empty and lifeless. How the scene is constructed and how it works in the grand scheme of things can just as much add to it. The lighting, the score, the colors, and all that stuff are sprinkles on top, but the composition is the skeleton. When staging dialogue scenes for the camera, the director must fulfill 2 goals: the honest expression of human relationships and the presentation of these relationships to the viewers. Chances are, even if you don't know these terms of these shots, you either have seen them or done them yourself without realizing it. That's because it's so ingrained in cinema that we are naturally accustomed to these scenes. The most frequent ones for dialogues are shot reverse shot, where the characters are talking towards the camera, as an over-the-shoulder shot angle between the two. Another is face-to-face, to which it's where the two are parallel to each other, very flatly. Now, you're probably thinking the first two are boring ways to show the conversation, but everything needs context. Low-angle reverse shots are a way to deviate from normal shot reverse shot, but those angles are meant to show the two as adversaries and the conversation hostile. Shots where the other isn't making eye contact is meant to emphasize much of the same. But shots where characters are shoulder to shoulder and given enough space makes it feel more involving. In the show Brooklyn Nine-Nine, a lot of the shots are wide and open and show off multiple characters with each other. Like I said before, this gives the feeling of inclusion, like you're really there. And since major themes of the show are family inclusiveness, that kind of framing works perfectly here. This is also a tactic in many first-person games, Portal, Half-Life 2, Stanley Parable, to feel more involved in the game itself. In shot reverse shots, considering at what angle of the camera can greatly differentiate what the scene is trying to convey. In the anime Madoka Magica, there's one scene where two characters are about to face off. One is far stronger than the other and knows this, and comes out of nowhere. So to demonstrate that, the less skilled one almost runs right into her spear as she aims it at her neck. She then proceeds to take a bite out of her snack, eyes out of view, before going on about the food chain. In a very quick moment, it's able to show her as confident, dangerous, and uncaring, and the rest of the scene goes to highlight that. There's more I can go into, but I highly recommend getting Shot by Shot by Stephen D. Katz if you like this video. He goes into far more depth than I did, since I just want to give a basic introduction to shooting, camera angles, and dialogue scenes. But as I said multiple times, find what's best for the story above anything else.